You're listening to TGI Sports Talk with your host, Keith Angle, on Northeast Streaming Sports.
Hey guys, Keith Angle for TGI Sports Talk right here on the Northeast Streaming Sports Network. You can also catch us live on Zodiac on Fridays, on Sundays. They're going live on some streaming applications on April 30th. Lots of news to come about that. I want to thank all the groups that allow me to share this. We're going to talk about the Knicks today. The Knicks surging towards the playoffs. Unbelievable what's gone on. 8 wins in a row. Can't remember the last time the Knicks have had 8 wins in a row. They're 6 games over 500. Easily their high water mark of the season. They're all alone in 4th place in the East. Only 3 games behind the Bucks. Catching the Bucks will be difficult. There's only 12 games left, I believe. 14 for the Bucks, though. So yeah, I think so that they could possibly challenge for that. But more importantly, let's talk about where they are and how they got here and where they're going. Because are the Knicks a real playoff threat? I think it's possible that they are. They've won 8 in a row, guys. They've beat some good teams throughout the year. Now on this latest win streak, have they beat the best teams in the league? No, but they've been winning on the road. They beat the Lakers, shorthanded, obviously, but still, they're the Lakers. They beat the Mavericks. They beat the surging Hawks. The Hawks were on fire during this streak. They beat the Raptors. They beat the Grizzlies. They beat the Pelicans. And I heard some people talking this morning when I was on with Mac and Jack on the Mac and Jack show that the Knicks can't beat or play with the big boys. And all year long, guys, I'm sorry, they have. They beat the Bucks by 30 earlier this year. They beat the Celtics by 30. They've played with the 76ers every time they played them, pretty much. Have they beat them? Not yet. They beat the Utah Jazz in Utah. They only have the best record in all of basketball. Guys, this team can win. They're going to give people trouble in the playoffs. If they finish 4th, they've got a home court advantage for that 4 or 5 series, which would probably be against Boston or Atlanta. That's not going to be easy. The next 3 games are really a must for them to be able to really stay in a position that they're in. Because right now they've got games against Toronto and Phoenix and Chicago, all at home. Phoenix, a big surprise out west, but they're playing at home in front of fans in the Gardens. I don't care if it's only 10% capacity or whatever it might be. It's still fans, and the electricity has returned to the Garden, even with this low wattage of fans that we have. Then they go to Houston. They got to win 3 of these 4 games, because after that they're going on the road for 6 games. Well, Houston's one of those 6 games. They play Houston, Memphis, Denver, Phoenix, the Clippers, and the Lakers. Tough run through the West to wrap up this season, or almost wrap up this season, because they're going to come home for 3 straight home games to finish up the season with San Antonio, Charlotte, and the Celtics. That Celtics game could end up being a huge game at the end of the regular season. All of this to jockey for playoff position. The key now is to stay 6 and above. Don't fall below 6. Don't get in that 7 and 8 range where you've got to play now the 9 and 10 teams for a play-in game, and you're going to have to play either the 76ers or the Nets in round 1. Stay 6 and above. I think the Knicks have got a fighting chance to beat the Bucks or the Celtics or the Hawks in the first round. Certainly, I'd rather play the Celtics than the Hawks or the Hawks. Then all bets are off. They could catch the Nets in that next round. Listen, the Nets are going to have some issues, guys. Are they a better team than the Knicks on paper? Sure, healthy. With Durant and Harden and Irving. and the bench that they have. But the Knicks have put themselves in a position to really surprise everybody. At the beginning of the season, I mean, most people had projected them to win 21, 22, 23 games. They've already far surpassed that. And now they're not looking at just making the playoffs, which we would have been very ecstatic with just a few months ago, but being in a position to be one of the top 4 seeds in the East. And in a position to do some damage in the playoffs. This team is in a position to do some damage. Tom Thibodeau, what he has done to change the culture in New York with the Knicks is amazing. Tibbs should be in consideration for Coach of the Year for sure. Quinn Snyder's probably going to get it, my guess is, with Utah, most likely. But Tom Thibodeau's got to be in contention. Julius Randle's got to get in the conversation for MVP. He probably won't win. Joel Embiid will win, or maybe Jokic from Denver. But this team and what they've accomplished and done and how they've changed the culture, as I said, over 1 year span is amazing. It's a testament to Leon Rose, who I think still works for the Knicks. He hasn't talked to anybody in the press in about a year and a half. And Tom Thibodeau. People talk about Tom Thibodeau's faults other places, in Chicago and in Minnesota. Well, coaches learn, just like players do, from their mistakes. And I think Thibodeau may have done that. I love the energy that he gets these guys to bring to the court night in and night out. Even when they lose, they play good defense. They play hard. They never, ever quit, which this team has done time after time in the past decade. And as far as Thibodeau in the playoffs, where he might have failed with some very talented Chicago teams, I think a coach like Bill Belichick, a coach named Bill Belichick, had some failures before he became Bill Belichick. And you may be seeing that with Tom Thibodeau. Now, the coaching job that he has done here is tremendous. This team is ready to compete now. They could shock the world and come out of the East. I don't see it happening, guys. But I do see this team as potentially giving fits to the team that does come out of the East. It's going to be very exciting. Don't tell me they have not won games against good teams. Again, go back to that Utah game in Utah. Go back to the Boston game that they won by 30. Beat the Lakers. They've had trouble with the Heat. Hopefully we don't match up with the Heat come the playoffs. That's probably the one piece of kryptonite they could run into early. But this next stretch of games, guys, they really need to win 3 of these next 4 games in my mind, if not all 4. They won all 4. They're on a 12-game winning streak. They're going to go out west with all kinds of momentum. But this trip to the West is going to be very tough. They got Houston and Memphis before they head to Denver, Phoenix, LA, and LA. That's as rough a patch as you can hit. But the Knicks got momentum on their back. Let's see if they can make it work. It's exciting in the Garden again. Even with 10,000 fans, you watch the games on TV, you could feel the energy coming through the tube. I can't imagine what it's like in the building. Now, maybe we get to the playoffs. Maybe they're able to increase those numbers. Who knows? Depends on what happens with COVID and shots and whatever else we want to talk about. But it's going to be exciting. When was the last time it was exciting to be a Knicks fan in April and May? May's right around the corner. Maybe we'll be excited into June. Wishful thinking, maybe. This team can keep it going, keep us excited, keep us hoping, keep us praying that it can happen. Shock the world? Maybe. Way ahead of schedule? Absolutely. Knicks have brought excitement back to the Garden, and that's what you want. Keith Engel, TGI Sports Talk. Have a great weekend. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.